Hello friend, this is part of myocardial infarction. In this part, we are going to see the pathophysiology of myocardial infarction, its signs and symptoms and diagnosis. So what is myocardial infarction? It is in common language known as heart attack. So when there is obstruction in the coronary artery, then the cells of heart, the tissue of heart will deprived of oxygen and they will get necrotic and there will be necrosis happened. Okay, so that is called as myocardial infarction. So let's start with the pathophysiology. So due to any cause, the causes which we have read in the previous video of myocardial infarction, whatever there will be cause, it will create an obstruction in the blood flow. So due to any cause like atherosclerosis, coronary spasm, narrowness of the artery, or coronary thrombus or embolism. So let's see the coronary artery. Suppose this is the normal coronary artery. This is the normal coronary artery and the blood is flowing in its normal speed. Okay, so this is the coronary artery of our heart and these are our cardiocytes. These are our cardiocytes, or you can say that these are our myocytes tissue of the heart. So what is the blood is doing? It is giving oxygen and nutrition to these cells and they are doing their cellular metabolism. Okay, they are doing their function properly. So how there will be obstruction in the coronary artery? Okay, how there will be the obstruction in the coronary artery? Suppose I am taking the first cause, that is atherosclerosis. So due to atherosclerosis in the coronary artery, there will be obstruction to the blood which is flowing. Okay, to the blood which is flowing. So atherosclerosis means when there is fatty substance, get deposited. Okay, when there is fatty substance get deposited into the inner layer of the coronary artery. So inner layer of any artery is known as intima. Okay, so what is happening here? The fatty substance getting deposited into the inner layer of intima. So this process is a long-term process. Okay, this process is a long-term process which happens from the starting of 10 years of age and the symptoms we see after the 40 years. Okay, symptoms we see after a long time, after 40 years, when we have crossed our 40 years of age. So what is happening? This atherosclerosis plaque is growing, okay, which is made up of fatty materials, cholesterol, lipids and lots of squamous cells. There is lots of spongy cells are also present here, monocytes and spongy cells. Okay, so this atheroma, okay, so this atheroma is obstructing the blood flow. This atheroma is obstructing the blood flow. So what will happen? Reduced myocardial blood supply. Due to obstruction of atheroma formation, the blood will not able to flow properly. The blood will not able to flow properly and increase myocardial oxygen demand. Okay, the myocardial cells and tissue which are getting oxygen properly, now because of atheroma formation they will deprived of oxygen, and for their functioning they need a lot of oxygen. Even the heart itself need a blood supply. Okay, so for their functioning, for their normal functioning of the heart, it needs a blood supply. So the oxygen demand in the myocytes in the cardiac cell will increase. So what will happen? These are deprived of oxygen, then they will send the signal to the brain. Okay, then they will send the signal to the brain, and what the brain will do? It will release the adrenaline, because it doesn't know that what is going to happen. Okay, so it will release the adrenaline in the whole body. So what adrenaline will do? It will increase the other activity in our body, sympathetic activity in the body. Okay, and our heart will beat at faster rate. There will be tachycardia in the patient. Okay, because these cells are deprived of oxygen, there is necrosis in some region of the heart. Suppose it is left ventricular region. Okay, suppose the left ventricular region cells are getting death, so there will be necrosis in the left ventricular region. So what other part of the heart cell will do? They will they will increase their function, they will compensate it. Okay, they are compensating the function of these cells because these cells are not getting the proper oxygen and they are dying. Okay, there will be necrosis in this cell. So myocardial ischemia, when this process happens for a long period of time, then this cell will not get the proper oxygen and nutrition. There will be ischemia. Ischemia means when the cells are deprived of oxygen and nutrition and they are getting death. That is called as ischemia. Then plaque rupture and thrombogenesis. Okay, when the plaque will rupture, when the person is stable, he is not doing any activity, not doing any physical exertion, then the blood supply is normal for this cell. But when the person does physical activity, there is huge release of adrenaline, then blood will flow at a faster rate. So what will happen when there will be tachycardia, when there is increased heart rate? This will rupture the plaque. So outer layer of plaque is known as endothelial layer, which is very fissury and rupturing layer. Okay, so plaque will rupture due to the blood flow because we are doing a lot of physical activity, so we need a lot of blood supply, okay, for our functioning. So plaque will rupture and there will be thrombogenesis. What is thrombogenesis? Thrombogenesis is a process in which platelets get aggregated to the surface. When this plaque will rupture, when this atheroma will rupture, what will happen? The platelets which are present in the blood, they will aggregate here. Okay, actually there is two process happen. Suppose if the blood will rupture, then what our body mechanism is? They will prevent that blood. Okay, so same process happening here, that blood, the platelets which are present in the blood, they are aggregating here, they are doing addition here. Okay, so there are two processes happening, one is addition and other one is aggregation. So addition and aggregation process will happen there. So it will form a thrombus, a blood clot. Permanent thrombus will form here. So now the pathway of the blood is completely obstructed. And what will happen? Then there will be complete necrosis of myocardial cell and there will be myocardial infarction. Now these cells are deprived of oxygen completely. So suppose this is happening in the left ventricle. Okay? Suppose this is happening in the left ventricle, so that region of the left ventricle will not able to get proper blood and there will be necrosis or myocardial infarction. So next we are going to see the sign and symptoms of myocardial infarction. What are the sign and symptoms of heart attack patients? So first symptom is crushing severe chest pain. The heart attack patient will feel a crushing, squeezing type of pain in his chest, and it is feel in the whole region of the chest. Where this pain will happen? It will happen into the retrosternal region. It means it will happen in behind the breastbone at the epigastric region. So what will be the duration of this pain? It will be 30 minutes or more than 30 minutes. So heart attack pain is crushing, squeezing, severe form of pain, which is a radiating type of pain. Okay, this pain is a radiating type of pain. It will radiate from the center of chest or from the left of the chest to the left arm. Okay, up to the fingers. Okay, and this pain will happen also in the right arm. Okay, some patients feel this pain also in the right arm. It will radiate up to the back, in the neck and at the jaw region. Okay, so this is a radiating type of pain. So next is there will be tachycardia. Okay, the middle muscles of the heart are damaged. So whole of the heart is going to compensate that. Okay, so heart will increase its beat. There will be increase of heart rate more than 100 beat. Okay, more than 100 per minute. So there will be tachycardia seen in the patient, and there will be hypertension because the blood vessels will get constrict as it has to pump out the blood into the whole of the body. So what will happen? The heart palpitation will increase and the BP will also get increased. okay, and BP will also get increased. After hypertension, suddenly we see the hypotension in the patient. Why there will be hypotension? Why there will be low BP in the patient? It is in the later stage, means after the end stage, when the heart will unable to pump out the blood into the whole of the body. Okay, so this hypotension means low BP will be seen at the later stage, later when the heart will not able to pump out the blood into the whole body. So what will happen? First there will be hypertension, then there will be hypotension, then there is cardiogenic shock. Cardiogenic shock is a condition, it's an emergency condition in which the heart muscles get weak. Now the heart is very weak that it can't pump out the blood. Okay, now it can't pump out the blood into the whole circulation. So there will be cardiogenic shock. The blood will not able to reach up to the vital organs like our digestive system and like the brain. Next, there will be tachypnea. There will be excessive breathing. So how much there will be breathing? So we know that normal breathing rate is from 12 to 20 breath per minute. So when there will be more than 20 breath per minute, okay, when there will be more than 20 breath per minute, so there will be tachypnea seen in the patient, means excessive breathing is seen in the patient. So next is dyspnea, okay, shortness of breath. Now the cells and tissue are deprived of oxygen supply. So there will be dyspnea, means there will be low amount of oxygen and there will be need of more oxygen. Okay, so there will be dyspnea, shortness of breath. There will be cyanotic, when the oxygen content rich blood will not able to reach up to the cell, then what will happen? The cells will get necrotic and they will die. So the bluish discoloration is seen into the patient fingers, okay, into the patient skin, and after some time that skin will get cool. Okay, after some time the skin will get cool. Next symptom is diaphoresis, when there is excessive sweating, into the patient. So why there is excessive sweating? Because the blood is not able to flow, up to the sweat glands. So what will happen in the heart attack patient? There will be excessive sweating seen. And in some patient there is nausea and vomiting feeling. Even the patient vomit when he have heart attack symptoms. Okay, there will be anxiety, there will be a lightheadedness, there will be anxiety feel in the patient. Why there is oliguria? Because the heart is not able to pump out the sufficient amount of blood up to the kidney. So what will happen? There will be low amount of urine. And disorientation, patient is unaware of time, place or thing, what is going to happen in his body, where he is standing, what is happening in his whole body. He will be totally disoriented. Okay, there will be syncope, there will be fainting at the time of heart attacks. So these are the most important signs and symptoms of heart attacks. Sometimes we mistakenly feel that these symptoms are due to acidity, but there is much difference between the acidity symptoms and heart attack symptoms. So in acidity symptoms, if we talk about acidity or gas symptoms, how we will recognize it? The acidity symptoms are at the superficial level. Okay, they are at the superficial level, and when the patient changes his position, like he is lying down, he is sitting or he is resting, then he gets some relief, and the intensity of pain get not increased. Okay, in the acidity condition, the intensity of pain does not get increased. Okay, or by lying down or sitting, the patient gets some relief. And if there will be pain due to acidity and we give antacid to patient, okay, we give to antacid to patient, then what will happen? That pain will get subside after some time. Okay, that pain will get subside after some time. And if we talk about heart attack symptom, so how we will recognize it? The heart attack symptoms are radiating form of symptom. Okay, that pain is crushing pain. We cannot point out the heart attack pain that it is happening here or here. Okay, and it is a radiating type of pain which will radiate to the left arm, to the shoulder, to the both shoulders, and at the neck region, to the jaw region, at the back region. Okay, and that pain intensity will get increased. Okay, that pain intensity will get increased at each episode. Okay, and the patient will not feel relief even after resting or sitting. Okay, that intensity will get increased after some episodes. Okay, so this was our sign and symptoms. Next, we are going to see the diagnosis of myocardial infarction. Okay, so what are the investigation we do at the time of heart attack? So first is we ask the patient about the medical history. Okay, we will ask that in his family does anyone have suffered from heart attack or not, or if he had gone through any previous heart surgery or not. Then we will do physical examination. It means head to toe examination of patient. We will check his vital signs like heart rate, his BP and its pulse rate. So in physical examination also we will ask the patient that if he had suffered from any angina pain or any chest pain or not. Okay, so first point is we will do patient detailed medical history and its physical examination. Next is our cardiac markers. It is a very important point. Okay, so in his blood, okay, so in his blood, in the blood of patient, we will check for cardiac marker. So what are cardiac markers? Cardiac markers are any enzymes, hormone or proteins which are released into our blood circulation while there is damage in the heart muscle or heart tissue, while there is necrosis or infarction happened into the heart muscles. So it will release into our bloodstream. So by checking the blood of patient, we can verify that, we can diagnose that if he had suffered from heart attack or not. So there are many types of cardiac marker like myoglobin, troponin, serum creatinine phosphokinase, and like AST is also there. AST means aspartate transaminase or SGOT, and there is LDH, lactate dehydrogenase. So first there is myoglobin. So what is myoglobin? Myoglobin is a form of cardiac marker. It is a protein type of marker. Okay, it is a protein which bind up the oxygen. Okay, its main function is binding of the oxygen. So when any muscles of the heart require the oxygen, it will take it from the myoglobin protein. Okay, so it helps in binding the oxygen molecule. So what is its onset? When it will release into the bloodstream? When there is death of, or when there is necrosis in the heart tissue or muscles, then it will release after 30 minutes. Okay, it will release after 30 minutes into the bloodstream. Its highest amount, its peak value will be found in the blood at 2 to 4 hours. Okay, and it will fall after 1 day. So it is not used, it is not specific. So why it is not specific cardiac marker? Because it is rising very early. It is rising very early in the bloodstream and falling down very early. So it is not used. Okay, it is not so specific cardiac marker. Second is troponin. So troponin is a form of protein. So it is composed of 3 proteins. Okay, so first is troponin C. It is found in cardiac as well as in skeletal muscles. Next there is troponin I. Troponin I is found in cardiac muscles, and troponin T is also found in cardiac muscles. It is a very good form of cardiac marker. Okay, even though it is very costly, troponin test is very costly, but it is a very good cardiac marker. So why it is so good? Let's see. Its onset is after 2 to 4 hours. When there is heart attack, then the cells of our heart will release it into the blood after 2 to 4 hours, and its peak, its highest value is 12 to 24 hours, and it will fall after 10 days, or we can say that after 1 day, after 7 weeks, sorry, after 7 weeks. It means its falling day is from 7 to 10 days. It is a long lasting cardiac marker. So if in the previous days the patient had suffered from any heart attack and he had come to the hospital after 2 to 3 days, then we can easily verify that if he had suffered from heart attack or not. So it is a very good cardiac marker, but it is little bit costly. Next, there is serum creatinine phosphokinase. So it is an isoenzyme. Okay, so it is an isoenzyme. First there is CKMM. So CKMM is found in our skeletal muscles, okay, which will release in the blood when there will be damage in the skeletal muscles. CKMB is found in our cardiac cell, in the heart cell, and CKBB is found in brain tissue. Yet it is never released into the bloodstream. It will never release into the bloodstream. Okay, so its onset is after 2 to 4 hours of death of cardiac cell or tissue, and its peak value 6 to 10 hours, and it will fall after 3 days. It was used in the previous year. Okay, in the past we used to have this test, serum creatinine phosphokinase. Now the latest one is troponin. Next diagnosis we are going to see, that is electrocardiogram, ECG or EKG. Okay, so it is a graphical representation of the heart, mainly the heart's electrical activity. So it is a graph in which the heart electrical activity is notified. So if there is ST elevation, okay, if there is ST elevation in the ECG, it means it was a recent heart attack to the patient. And if there is prominent Q wave is seen in the ECG, it means it was a past heart attack to the patient. So it is an important diagnosis for the myocardial infarction. Next we do echocardiogram. So echocardiogram is similar like an ultrasound. Okay, so it is similar like an ultrasound. The ultrasound which we do at the time of pregnancy or for checking the internal organs. So it is an ultrasound of the heart. So echocardiogram is the ultrasound of the heart, in which the high frequency sound waves are given at the chest. Okay, given at the chest of patient through a probe. So in this echocardiogram we see how the heart chambers are functioning, how its valve are functioning, how the blood vessels are functioning. Okay, so it is a diagnosis for the myocardial infarction. Next there is angiography. Angio means blood vessels and graphy means representation. Okay, so here we are studying about the coronary arteries of the heart. So coronary angiography, so it is a procedure which is done through the radial artery or by the femoral artery, but 90 to 95% cases it is done through the radial artery nowadays. So what we do in this procedure, we insert a flexible catheter to the radial artery of the patient and we inject the dye through it. So wherever the dye will go, and suppose if there is blockage in this coronary artery, so what will happen? The dye will not able to reach to the other area, okay, to this area. So what will happen? The dye will occluded at this area only. So it means we can easily notify that there is some occlusion, so there is blockage in the coronary artery. Next we do stress test. It is also known as treadmill test. The name itself says stress. It means we are increasing the heart activity. So what we do in this procedure, we tell the patient to run or to walk in a treadmill. So we are increasing the speed of a treadmill, and we are increasing the workload of the heart. So in this test we check that how the heart of patient is functioning while he is performing more vigorous exercise or more physical work. Next is positron emission tomography, which is PET scan. Okay, so it is a procedure in which we see the metabolic and biochemical function of the cell. Okay, so in this procedure we are seeing the metabolic and biochemical activity of the cell. Similarly like angiography, we insert a radioactive tracer directly into the vein of patient, and wherever there is some blockage or the cells are infected, it will reach up to that area at the maximum level. Okay, the tracer will reach up to that area, up to the maximum level where the cells are dying, so we can easily notify the infection in this case. Mainly this procedure is done for the brain, for the heart, and for the cancer. Next is CT scan. CT means computerized tomography scan. So in CT scan, various images of the heart is taken from the all side. Okay, and that images are seen in that graphical in that scan form. Okay, so it is a definite safe machine in which the patient's several x-rays are taken through a radio wave. Next there is MRI. MRI means magnetic resonance imaging. So MRI is more better than CT scan. Why it is so? Because it gives the clear cut images. The diagnosis is easily through the MRI scan. It shows the clear vessels, the clear chamber, and the clear area of the heart. So it gives the proper and clear cut images of the heart. Hematocrit level increase. So we do the hematocrit test to the patient. Okay, so why there is increase in hematocrit? Through hematocrit we are saying RBC amount is increasing because the heart is not functioning properly and it is not ejecting out the blood to the whole body. Okay, so cell need oxygen for its metabolism. Cell need oxygen for its metabolism. So in RBC there is a hemoglobin. Okay, there is a pigment known as hemoglobin which will bind the oxygen. Okay, so what is happening in the patient body? The RBC level is increasing. Okay, more RBC is also harmful and less RBC is also harmful. Okay, so we do for the hematocrit level test. Next we can also go through the chest x-ray to the patient. In part 3rd of this video we will read about its treatment and nursing management. So please like and subscribe to this channel for more videos.